This morning, Brody and I are in a tree stand, and that's a little bit different than what we've been doing. We're in this little patch of trees, almost more of a thicket, with some cottonwoods in it. That's really close to the road. And the reason that we're in here is because a few days ago, we tried a little wind bump in here. We originally thought there might just be a few does in here, but then once I got in here and was kind of walking through it, found a bunch of buck beds. I actually jumped a really nice buck, about 100 yards that direction. I think these bucks are bedding in this little pocket quite a bit. There's all kinds of rubs in here. I jumped a spike as well on the other side of this thicket. There's all kinds of trails going through the middle of it. It's so thick in here, I don't think a lot of people are hunting it. It's actually in a bow hunting only zone, so we know that there's no rifle pressure in here, so it probably doesn't get driven out very often. But it seems like one of those little overlooked places where a buck can go and feel safe. Obviously, a big one was because he was bedded in here a few days ago. We came in and did a hang and hunt, and it's really close quarters in here. Any shot's probably going to be less than 20 yards. There's a few trails that are going right along the edge of this little creek that we're sitting right over top of, and they're paralleling that, so going right past the stand. In theory, if that buck comes into that bed and he goes to J-hook in, hopefully that's going to bring him right past this stand. I'm thinking he might just circle right downwind of all of this bedding area, but staying in the cover. Like I said, we're really close to the road, so I'm sure that big buck doesn't stand out in the open very often. But most of the deer coming back to bed have been getting back pretty late. It's kind of the pattern we've been seeing. Deer are on their feet a lot longer in the mornings when it's cooler. Hopefully as these deer start to filter past, one of these bucks will come past and give us a shot right here, 20 yards. Brody and I just got down, and this morning was pretty eventful. We saw a doe and a spike come back into this bedding area. We can't see a lot in this spot, but we did see two of the deer that I jumped out of here last time. It's about 9:30, and we're gonna get out of here, slip out the back. I think there's a chance that we could sit here all day and a deer still get up and meander through, but I think chances are more likely that towards evening or tomorrow morning the bucks are going to be more likely to come past this spot. But I think we're going to hunt this, like I said, at least one more time. We're not really affecting anything by blowing the wind that we're blowing, and we've got that for the next 3 days, I think. They're never even going to know we're coming and going because this stuff's so thick in here. So you can tell I'm down at ground level. This stuff is taller than my head. So when a deer's down in there, they can't see anything. So we should be able to sneak right up out of here without anything, knowing that we're coming and going. And I think this spot might be the spot where we end up shooting a deer. I'll make this short and sweet. Brody and I were walking in about an hour and a half ago, and on the way in we jumped a doe that wasn't bedded there when we left. And on the way in, I noticed a nice sized buck track, and it looked fresh. And right about that time, we had started crawling so that way anything in these beds wouldn't be able to see us. When we were crawling, I heard a cough, and I knew it had to be a deer. It was dead calm at that time, so Brody and I just laid down, crawled for like 50 yards, and got to where we were really dang close to that deer. Eventually, the wind started picking up, and we knew that the wind was possibly kicking towards that deer, so we said, we're just gonna shoot down here to the stand, so we did it. I took probably one step up on the step, and I could see antlers right here, right below us. And that deer was not here this morning. It was a 1.5-year-old buck, it looked to be, and he was starting to catch our wind for sure. He eventually got a little spooky, and when he did, he jumped right out here in this opening that we were planning on shooting. The good news is that means that there's definitely deer in this area, and they And they may have even moved in here in the middle of the day. There may be other bucks in here. Definitely a buck bedding area though, and pretty much for the next hour we're going to be on pins and needles. Well, we got down out of there. It got pretty windy, and the wind actually was blowing back into that bedding area a little bit. I didn't realize it till later on, but as soon as we noticed that, we just got out of there. Don't feel like it's worth risking blowing our scent back in there. But tomorrow, the wind, they're calling for west wind. So I pulled the stands just in case we have to move within that bedding area. It's definitely the spot that we want to be at though, I think. Hopefully we can figure out a way to get in there and hunt it in the same way. I'd like to be in the same tree, I think, at this point, but just gonna have to see which way the wind's blowing in the morning and make the call from there. But I feel like it's the place we need to be.